In just a few decades, a handful of families have built economic empires that rival the output of entire industries. This chart compares the net worth of top Philippine families against the national GDP. We are looking at fortunes north of $11 billion for names like Villar, and Razon. Breaking down this wealth shows functional control over the country's power grids, real estate, and retail. Building a multi-billion-dollar machine is only the first problem. The statistical reality of family businesses is that wealth rarely survives past the third generation. The transition of power represents the highest point of risk. To understand that risk, you have to look at how these empires started. Most of them began as simple, physical trading operations on the gritty streets of early 20th century Manila. Founders like Henry C. Sr. built massive conglomerates through entrepreneurial survival. Today, passing those empires down requires a different mechanism. Grit alone cannot manage a company that employs tens of thousands of people. The young Filipinos inheriting these fortunes are highly trained human capital. They are deployed to solve their family's vulnerabilities and prevent dynastic decay. This chart maps the succession spectrum. The x-axis measures focus, from core business to new ventures. The y-axis tracks function, from corporate control to cultural influence. The first group operates in the top left quadrant, core operators mandated to lock down foundational cash cow businesses. The SMUG dynasty relies heavily on this model. To ensure the third generation understands the mechanics of the SM group, heirs work entry-level retail jobs starting at age 13. They bag groceries and stock shelves long before entering an executive boardroom. San Miguel Corporation uses a similar architecture. John Paul Ang worked through different internal divisions, eventually running Eagle Cement, before his father passed him the roles of president and COO. Kevin Tan followed a similar apprenticeship at Alliance Global. He managed MegaWorld's mall portfolio, learning to operate millions of square feet of physical hard assets before taking control of the parent conglomerate. Forcing heirs through a mid-level gauntlet ensures that when the founder steps back, the market remains stable. The heir already knows the operational mechanics. This strategy prioritizes legacy preservation over disruptive innovation. While it creates short-term stability, it places intense public pressure on the heir and carries a long-term risk of corporate stagnation. This chart shifts our focus to the right side of the spectrum. These heirs are deployed into public service and cultural influence to build protective moats around the family's assets. Manny Villar built an $11 billion real estate and retail empire from scratch. To secure that expansion, his daughter Camille operates in a dual capacity, acting as CEO of their retail holdings while serving as a sitting congresswoman. Real estate development relies on zoning, infrastructure approvals, and local governance. Placing an heir directly into the political sphere provides a regulatory buffer for the family's investments. Older dynasties like the Zobel de Ayala's control massive physical footprints, such as the financial district of Makati. Heirs like Rocio Zobel or Dominique Cojuangco Hearn take on a different role, cultural shielding. By building personal brands in global fashion and wellness, these heirs update the dynasty's public image. They connect a century-old fortune to a younger demographic, generating social capital without risking primary assets. Intertwining business with national influence is a long-standing strategy in the Philippines. The Cojuangco family's wealth is linked to their access to the highest levels of political power, reaching the presidency. Political and cultural shielding secures regulatory safety and modernizes the brand. However, it requires the family to hand over day-to-day corporate operations to non-family executives, introducing a different category of management risk. The bottom left quadrant contains the venture innovators, heirs operating entirely outside the traditional corporate structure. This strategy utilizes the family's financial safety net to fund high-risk pursuits that the main corporation is too large to pursue itself. Katrina Razon acts as a prime example of the venture innovator model. Her father, Enrique Razon Jr., built an $11.5 billion fortune in a rigid, traditional sector. His company operates global cargo terminals. It is a business defined by physical steel, concrete, and heavy logistics, where rapid innovation is difficult. Instead of entering the port business, Katrina leveraged her position to found an investment firm focused on sustainability and co-founded an arts festival built around zero-waste principles. She acts as an external scout for emerging environmental trends. Nicole Coson builds an art career away from the SM retail empire. Daniel Miranda races cars professionally instead of running pawn shops. These decentralized paths allow the family to capture emerging industries and cultural relevance. However, it diverts capital away from cash-generating core businesses and carries the high statistical risk of venture failure. The variety of these career paths reflects a series of architectural responses designed to patch the specific vulnerabilities of a megacorporation. The generational deployment matrix provides a framework for evaluating how these dynasties manage the risks of succession. If the core operation operates on tight margins or requires constant oversight, the strategy dictates strict assimilation, deploying the heir directly into operations. If the core business is secured by monopolies or massive hard assets, the primary threat is obsolescence. In this scenario, the family must focus on deploying the heir into venture capital or political spheres. A multi-billion-dollar conglomerate is a heavy, complex machine. Handing the controls to a new operator requires perfect alignment. If the gears do not mesh, the resulting friction can tear the entire structure apart. The greatest risk to these dynasties lies in the selection and training of a misaligned successor. Economic empires endure only when they accurately match an heir's innate disposition, whether they are an operator or an innovator, to the specific strategic needs of the conglomerate.